we do know what to expect right now as we get to talk to all 13 coaches across the league today, starting out with the reigning CAA tournament champions, head coach Erin Dickerson Davis from William and Mary. We welcome you to the show. Welcome, Coach. How are you doing today?
All is well. I hope you guys are well too and had a great summer.
Well, we want to get to know a little bit about how your summer went. Obviously, the Tribe coming off a historic season, winning the school's first conference title as the number 9 seed in the CAA tournament. Just, Coach, how much of last year can you bring momentum into this year?
It's hard because we have a lot of exciting things that are going on, ring ceremony, banner ceremony, things of that nature. However, we've also turned the page. That was an amazing time for us. It was surreal to go through. The growth that my team showed throughout that entire time was just extraordinary. It's really hard to put into words. But at the same time, we have a new group. We lost 6 seniors. We have 1 senior this season, a bunch of freshmen, a bunch of new faces. And so we use that as our motivation. We believe in ourselves. We know what we are capable of. But as of right now, it's turning the page and getting ourselves ready for another very competitive CAA schedule.
Well, Coach, I have October 18th on my calendar. I know that's the big banner day for you guys. That is going to be so exciting. But I was really curious about the goals for the team early in the season. I mean, last year you win the conference tournament as the 9 seed. You go to the NCAA First Four and you win that matchup. You have players who have that NCAA tournament experience. So what are the goals looking like to get your program to that point again and even beyond?
Yeah, so we decided to kind of take it slower and have smaller goals. It's something that we've been working on even since the summer. We talked about what are your team goals? Obviously, everybody's going to say to win a CAA championship. We obviously know how difficult that is. And so we said, of course you want to. If you don't want to, then this is probably not the place for you anyway, right? But what can we focus on just for the summertime? And what they decided was they wanted to focus on being a united team. They wanted to get closer with all of our new players. They wanted to have the best chemistry of any team that we've ever had here. And that's what they've been working toward. And then we have a new goal for the fall and then a new goal for the non-conference. And so we've really taken the approach of just kind of breaking the season up instead of just looking at it in its entirety. And so far, I think that focus has really helped us as we're growing as a team.
I like when you talk about building that chemistry because I think groups do that differently in the off season with new players and new pieces. How have you seen them grow that bond? Has there been team bonding activities? Has there been late night movies? What's kind of been the trick for you guys to gel?
Yeah, they do all of that stuff on their own. That's something that our team captains and our leaders, Alexa McKeska, who's my lone senior, Cassidy Geddes, and Monet Dance have really, taken that upon themselves to make sure that they do a lot of things outside of basketball. And then from our standpoint, we do something every Tuesday called Tribe Tuesday to make sure that we are doing team building exercises. We are still reading a book that we started in the summertime called Will It Make the Boat Go Faster? And, it's been really cool just to break down week by week, and it'll last us all the way up until our season starts. And then after that, our coach on my staff, Grace Ann Bennett, who is in charge of that, will make sure that every Tuesday we're still getting together and just making sure that we're building that chemistry off the court, because we know that if we can do that, then our chemistry on the court will definitely show.
Coach, I will say I loved that addition to your staff and Grace Ann Bennett because I loved watching her play at Georgetown. I know what a leader she is, so I'm excited to see that transition. But I want to talk about a player on your roster that I absolutely love, Cassidy Geddes. I'm from a neighboring town to her, Hickory, North Carolina, so I take a lot of pride in her success. All rookie team, CAA all tournament team. I'm curious about what she's been working on in the off season and what we can expect to see from Cassidy this year.
Yeah, Cassidy, since she's been here, has been one of the best guards on this team. She is someone that is self-motivated. She is graduating from William & Mary in 3 years. She is just extraordinary, both on and off the court. Just last night, she was inducted into a Leadership Honor Society. She is just an amazing young woman, and that does not stop when she gets to the basketball court. She has worked all summer long on her game game, but I think what I'm most impressed with is how she is growing as a leader. She knows what leadership should look like on a basketball team. She's seen great ones. She's seen leadership that wasn't as good as it could have been. And I think she's just taken all of that information. I mean, she's brilliant. So she's a researcher, right? And she's taking all of this information. She reads books, articles, sends me things that she's learning in class. And then she just finds a way to translate that to the basketball court. And I think what I am most just proud of and what I'm anticipating to see is how that helps us win basketball games, how she can lead this team to its potential, to reach the potential that I think we have with a bunch of newcomers.
And when you talk about those newcomers, obviously question marks come, right? That's why we have all these preseason stuff. We don't know exactly what we're going to get this year, but what do you hope is this team's biggest strength? Whether or not you're seeing that now, what do you hope this team's biggest strength is this season?
You know, I think that some people will look at our youth and inexperience kind of as a negative, and I think that it's a positive. I think that this group has really come in ready to go. They watched our championship run, the young players that we have, the transfers that we have, they watched it and they saw what it looked like. And then you have returners that felt it. And so I think just seeing it come all together and come into fruition, I think is going to be really cool. And I don't know. I don't see the inexperience or the youth as problematic. I think that they came in ready to learn, very, very hungry. They are coachable. You know, they want to hear the hard things. They want to hear feedback. They're doing okay with the feedback. There's still room for growth there. But I don't see that as being something negative for us. I think that that's something that is a positive and something that we can kind of hang our hat on is that, yeah, we're young, but we play really hard and we play hard together.
Well, Coach, I agree with you. I know some people may look at the youth and inexperience on your team, but I think for those people who follow your team very closely, what they've seen from the past few years is there's a moment where things start to click. It feels like for your team, somewhere in the middle of conference play, it just gels for your unit. We've seen it time and time again for you guys. And I know part of that is the non-conference schedule that you put together and the way that you test your teams early on to get them ready for conference play. Can you talk about your thought process in crafting this year's non-conference schedule?
Yeah, so we tried to keep in mind that we were going to have, you know, a young team. And so this is still a hard non-conference. It's not what it was last season, but we wanted to make sure that they were still being tested by really great teams, but that they didn't feel kind of like demoralized by some of these teams that we were playing and not be able to bounce out of that. And so when we were building our schedule, it was like, okay, we're going to play Richmond, and this reminds us of Drexel, and we're going to play this team. It reminds us of A&T, and we kind of tried to build our non-conference schedule based on who we were going to be playing in conference. And that way, now when we're scouting, we're like, we've already played a team like this before. You know, we played Davidson, and we played Wake Forest, and we've played against Biggs, and we played against Five Out, and we've played against Old Dominion, who's going to press and trap us the whole game. And so hopefully by the time we get to our conference season, there's not anything that we're seeing for the first time. And that way we're more prepared for it. We've seen it, we've played against it, and we know what was successful and what wasn't, so we can make those adjustments.
All right, Coach, we are so excited to see what you guys have to offer this season. Obviously, you know, building up the hype for us last year, but like you said, new pieces. We'll see what this team can bring this season. Thank you so much for your time and joining us on the show. Monica, let's move on. We've got so much to talk about.